My name is Omar Al Hassan, and today I'll be talking to you guys about the events that have occurred on October of 1992. There were a lot of events that I found to be a little insignificant for based on what other people have told me about this kind of assignment. A lot of people who were born other months have had a lot of crazy stuff happen, but it doesn't seem too hectic in my month and birth year. So let's jump right into it. We'll start off with celebrity births and birthdays. We'll start off with the rapper Cardi B from New York. She was born on October 11th, 1992. So, wow, happy birthday to her on October 11th. That's pretty cool. Then there's Tyler James Williams. He played the one role I remember him from. He played Barney's brother in How I Met Your Mother, I believe. He was his half brother. He was hilarious in that show. He was awesome. And then there's Josh Hutcherson, who was born October 12th. He plays Peeta from The Hunger Games, along with Jennifer Lawrence. He's her love interest in the movie, if you haven't checked it out, or any of those other movies. And then there's a singer named Taylor Horn. She was born on October 12th. She's mainly a YouTube singer. I've never personally heard any of her work, but I mean, to be mentioned among these celebrity birthdays, she must have been important. So it's good for her. And then there's Vincent Martella, who was born on October 15th in 1992. Vincent Martella actually played in a show on Nickelodeon called Everybody Hates Chris. He's actually Chris Rock's brother in the show, or not brother, I'm sorry, his friend in the show. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I actually recognize him. I recognize his name right away off this list, just because everyone else other than Cardi B and Josh Hutcherson, I didn't recognize anybody else. So then we go into the events. Firstly, we start off with Cartoon Network premiering on October 1st. So that's pretty cool. We got to experience Dexter's Lab because of all this, and Ed, and Eddie, and other hilarious TV shows in our youth. So that was pretty cool. Then the Greater Pittsburgh International Airport opened on October 1st, which was pretty cool too. Um, then the Atlanta Braves recorded their 90th win on October 3rd. If anybody doesn't know or hasn't watched sports before or isn't an avid baseball fan, baseball is a 162 game sport. So for a team to win 98 games in that era, it's pretty intense, especially in the early and late 90s where steroids were really big in the sport. And last but not least, in the major events, probably the most major event was a Carandiro massacre that occurred in the Carandiro Penitentiary in Sao Paulo, Brazil. In 1992, on October 2nd, a huge prison riot had broken out at around 1:30 p.m. in this prison. Um, it was roughly, I want to say, 2,000 prison inmates ended up getting into a 3-hour prison riot. And there was only 15 guards in the prison at the time, and the prisoners ended up overwhelming them. So the warden of the prison called on the military that's in Brazil, and they ended up storming the penitentiary, and they ended up killing 111 prisoners. They found 515 bullet casings from the prison, and 111 prisoners were killed. And this was considered one of the biggest violations of human rights in Brazil's history. So it was truly a massacre, and it was something horrible. Like this was the one thing that when I was doing some research, that really opened my eyes, and I was like, this is crazy. This was the one event that actually occurred, and I realized this something major did occur on my birth year and birth month, but I wasn't hoping for something like this. And then we go into deaths of famous people. We go into Henry Milton Ray, who died of a stroke on October 1st. Then Bruce Vorhauer, who was the sponge inventor, the Today sponge inventor. He unfortunately died of suicide on October 1st. And then Eddie Kendricks, the Temptation singer, died of lung cancer on October 5th. Cancer is one of the worst things in the world, so rest in peace to all three of them. And then let's get into the price of gas. Every time I look at the price of gas in the past, it just makes me think, man, like, why couldn't I have lived back then? But then again, like living in this era with all the technology and all the things we have, I'm kind of I don't mind paying that extra $2 or $1.50 for gas nowadays. The price of gas, or the average price of a gallon of regular gas in October of 1992 was $1.12. Yeah, and in conclusion, those are some of the major events and major things that had happened on October of 1992. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.